On this week's episode, a fix for the Peloton Tread has been approved, plus Disney artists classes.
And more rumors as to new coaches on the platform, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 49 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and I'm joined by my co-host, John Pruitt. Hey, John.
Hey now, Amanda. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Another good week here. Lots going on.
Wow, there certainly has been a lot going on in the Peloton world this week. We have tons to report. Unfortunately, I never got too much opportunity to be active this week on the bike or on the platform. So my picks of the week are a little bit dismal this week, but but it was it was a rough week. I told you folks last week that my daughter was heading off to college, and I got her moved in on Monday, and this mama was really feeling it. I have to say, it's a little surreal when your baby goes off to college. It's kind of crazy, but
that's a tiny little room for two people,
isn't it?
I saw your picture. I mean, their beds are literally right now. There's like 2 feet in between. They gotta like each other. I'm telling you, they gotta like each other. At first, I thought your daughter scored a single because I thought the other side was a couch. And I was like, man, lap of luxury.
Yeah, lap of luxury. Her mother wallpapered the entire dorm room. I mean, just, what can I say? What can I say? But she settled in nicely. And I guess my life will become Peloton from start to finish now. A little scary, actually. How about you, John? Did you have a good week?
Yeah, got a lot of good workouts in, which we'll cover in our class picks. Big news, we are getting a puppy.
Oh, John, that's awesome.
Which hopefully by next show, maybe she'll make an appearance. Yeah, maybe she'll make an appearance on the show. So we're very excited. John. We're going to pick her up tomorrow in Ohio. And it's from the same breeder that we had gotten our previous dog, Addison, the chocolate Labradoodle, who passed away at 15 back in February. We really wanted to adopt because Jackie's all about rescuing. We used to foster dogs a lot when we lived in Chicago before Jackson. Before kids. Yeah. But after Addison died and we were so sad, and obviously it was so quiet around the house. We went back to this breeder because my parents also got their Labradoodle from him, and this breeder. This puppy we're getting, the father is the grandson of Addie's dad. So they're related, how cool. Distant cousins. But, it still feels like we have a connection to Addie, which also makes us sad thinking about her now with the thought of now bringing home a puppy. And it's been quiet around here for the last 6 months. So I'm just enjoying this last day of quiet when things get turned upside down, when this puppy comes home with us. So
that's awesome, John. Oh, wow. And I think it's so great for Jackson. I mean, it's just nice. It's so nice for kids to grow up with a dog and, have some sense of responsibility as well. And that's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, Jackson's been busy bringing home from his summer camp on the farm. He's been busy bringing home animals from the farm. So we just had a chicken here a couple nights ago it sleeps in a crate in the garage, but it hangs outside with us on the patio. And it's super cute. So we have fun. We bring home kittens from the farm here and there. So we've had a few overnights with some other animals. But it'll be nice to have a dog.
This is right. Do you have a name? Do you have a name yet, or will we hear about it next week?
We've got a name, but I think we were waiting to see once we actually meet her.
Yeah, that's true.
The name. So we kind of just wanted to wait. But the name. We'll reveal it all next week.
Reveal it all next week. Oh, that's really exciting. I'm so excited for you guys. That's awesome.
But this puppy's they're called double doodles. So Addie was a Labradoodle before, so now double doodles are the new craze. So they're bred from a Labradoodle and a Golden Doodle.
Ah, interesting.
So you almost get double the hypoallergenic, non-shedding benefits, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Oh, I'm really excited for you guys. That's
so
really
it'll be
cool.
fun
I can't wait to see her
hopefully
next week.
I'll drop her on my lap and have her say hi.
Oh, for sure. Pillow Pop, a new Pillow Pop will be in the mix there. Right there with all the instructors, hey?
So exciting.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's really exciting. Well, folks, of course, before we get started with the show, we always like to remind you of how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button so that you never miss an episode.
And if you prefer to listen to us in traditional podcast format, we're on all podcast platforms. Just search Pelo Buddy, click subscribe, hit those notifications so you never miss an episode. And feel free to leave us a review if you like what you hear, if you have some suggestions on how we can improve the show, maybe an upcoming interview. We love to get your feedback.
And of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram. So just search for Pelo Buddy, follow us on those platforms for all the latest news. And I guess now let's just get on with the show.
Let's do it.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, Amanda. So at the beginning of May, we know that Peloton had recalled the Tread and Tread Plus for separate issues. With the new lower cost Tread, the issue that some members were experiencing was the screen falling off and shattering. Apparently there isn't all the screws in place there. So just recently, Peloton announced they have rolled out a fix for the Tread, which some members in UK have started to report. Peloton has already come out and fixed their Tread screens. In terms of the Tread Plus, that could be several more months in terms of an actual manufacturing correction that they need to do. Obviously, it's much more substantial in terms of a fix for the Tread Plus, with the danger of being trapped under it and getting, pulled under by the slats. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, we don't know when either one will go back on sale. They appear to be more focused currently on just, the fix, getting the Tread screen fixed for those members. So, more to come, obviously. But I know a lot of members were hoping, I know initially we had heard they would possibly go back on sale in July, I think last month. Obviously that's come and gone, but that's where we're at currently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear any minute now that they're going to be back on sale. Certainly once they've created this fix, I'm sure whatever all the ones that have already been manufactured have been corrected. So I definitely expect or anticipate to hear that they'll start rolling out the sale of them again so that folks will be able to purchase that lower cost Tread. Again, we don't foresee the Tread Plus going back on sale until they make that manufacturing adjustment. So they will have their earnings call we had mentioned, and of course we'll report on it next week, but they'll have the earnings call next week. So I wouldn't be surprised if that wouldn't, precipitate them releasing it early so that they can talk about it on the call.
Right, or giving us a date, an actual hard date.
Yeah, so with the Tread, we could say, are there some new Peloton coaches on the horizon? This week, we got to report not one, but possibly two new coaches that could be joining the Peloton team. First up is Marcel Dinkins. Marcel is a Division I athlete, or she was at least a Division I athlete in college, and a first lieutenant in the Army with previous jobs including working at Crunch Fitness, Equinox, and more. Interesting little fact, Marcel was a coach at a New York City rowing boot camp boutique studio called Rowgata. So could this mean that we are eventually getting that damn rower that we talk about every week? and wait in great anticipation for it to arrive. But yeah, so that was definitely interesting, an interesting fact about Marcel. Next rumored Peloton instructor is Joslyn Thompson Rule. And from what we hear, Joslyn could be teaching tread classes out in the UK. So with the new London studio waiting to be opened, I think sooner rather than later. I was going to say possibly by the end of the year, but there's definitely some chatter about it opening for recording, not necessarily for us to be able to go in and ride, but certainly as they transition out from the old studio into the new studio, it would probably make sense because, as we had reported previously, that new facility will contain a studio for recording tread classes. Peloton have not yet said who would be UK Peloton Tread instructors, but with Joslyn's background, it seems that she would be a likely candidate. So I'm definitely, suspicious that she could be one of them. So what we do know also about Joslyn is that she is a Nike Global Master Trainer and has offered mentoring and online coaching through her personal website. She's also led numerous talks and panels, with most recently a panel titled The Mum Reset, Setting and Communicating Boundaries. So Joslyn has also produced a podcast titled Fitness Unfiltered. So again, as John had mentioned, with the lower cost tread now having an approved CPSC fix, it definitely does make sense to start introducing new tread coaches. So that's really exciting to see all these new ones. As we say, HIHF. We've certainly mentioned Susie Chen. She's someone else that we anticipate coming on board, and some of the others. So it's exciting stuff as the company continues to just grow in leaps and bounds.
I know I'm looking forward to having some UK tread classes because, in my opinion, right now, overall all our favorite instructors just aren't teaching as much live as obviously we would like them to be with pandemic. But I feel like the tread run schedule right now is seriously lacking. Like there's barely, you might have one run a day, sometimes none at all. So it'll just be nice to have additional, because I love to work out live. So it'll be just nice to have other options on the tread side of things.
Yeah, and actually, UK. Not only that, John, but what I've also seen that's been lacking tremendously are outdoor walking classes. So, a lot of folks especially the app users, like to be able to take the app on the road with them, whether it be a run or or a walk. And there's none of that. So, there's just, I keep going back to, I love walking down here in Florida. It's beautiful. And I love to be able to stick a class in my ear and go along with it, but I'm getting bored of the ones that I continuously do over and over. So with these new run coaches, guided. It would be nice to have that ability to do that as well. So let's hope that there is going to be this coming up really soon.
Well, since we touched on the rower, Amanda, there's one little article that our trusty Chris Lewis had discovered recently on a website I've never even heard of called 9to5google.com. And what they have discovered is a lot of different, I'm trying to put this in very layman's terms, so even I can understand it. But what they have found in a recent Android update for the Peloton app was a lot of different rowing related terminology. I don't know if coding, but there was a few different, you can go to pelobuddy.com and see it all there, what we have from that article. But it gave different explanations of different rowing strokes and some other descriptions pertaining to a rowing class. So obviously they're building it.
It's coming.
Building it on the back end. So slowly but surely, this has got to be the biggest slow burn, roll of a new product announcement by Peloton. Right. But
again, they've had so many hiccups.
They're going to get it right. Yeah,
they've had so many hiccups exactly. So that was my point. I mean, there've been so many hiccups over the last year. I mean, certainly, with the tread recalls and stuff, that I think you're right. They want to make sure they get it 100% right before they put it out there, which makes sense.
So just more concrete evidence that that it's going to happen.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah, so stay tuned. So this past week, we had the Disney Artist Series, Spotify Disney Hits, which I don't know if you took, if you got to take any of the classes, Amanda, but a lot of fun. Cody had a 20-minute Disney ride. Rebecca had a 20-minute Disney bodyweight strength class. And Aditi, hers is being postponed. She's a little under the weather. So she has a yoga flow, 30-minute next Thursday. Thank you, control room. Next Thursday, 6 p.m., yoga flow with Aditi. I just didn't do the run with Becs. Becs had a 30-minute Spotify Disney Hits run from the 17th. So check them out. There's the ones I've done with Rebecca and Cody, super fun. Just, for all ages, the strength, even Cody didn't get one swear in there. He didn't get he didn't get that explicit, badge on that class. Cause he even said how he was super nervous. He knows there's kids and families. But he didn't have any slip ups.
Yeah. I saw him pop up on social. Fun. Yeah, I saw him pop up on social saying, "I can't believe I got through a whole class without saying the F word."
I know. I was amazed. I figured there was going to be one little tiny slip, but no, he was awesome. Good. He was good. He kept it together.
I got to tell you, I didn't realize that Disney was as popular as it is. I mean, It is amazing how many folks just absolutely gravitated towards these Disney stuff. So that's awesome that there's a series.
Cody said, I'd rather you hear the story from him directly, but he did give an explanation on his Mickey Mouse Disney face outline tattoo that he has right here and sort of under his right arm.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cute the way he explained, because a lot of people have said, like, is that a Disney tattoo? Why does he have a Disney tattoo? Yeah. But he gives a really cute explanation of why he has that there. But super fun class.
I am definitely jumping on that next week. Once I get myself back into some kind of routine and get my life back together, there is no question that is absolutely bookmarked. And Rebecca's strength class, yeah.
And also we have, there's several hidden Disney sort of themed classes on the Peloton platform. You kind of have to search for them because they're not labeled as Disney. But if you go to Pelo Buddy's website, we have a list of all of them right there, conveniently located for you to check out. Awesome. And we have a new artist series recently announced, Amanda, for country artist Erik Church, who actually I know a couple of his tunes. I can't think of what they are off the top of my head, but I know Erik Church. So this one I'm kind of excited about. Yeah.
Yeah. What are they going to have?
It starts on August 23rd with a body weight strength class with Callie Gullickson. And then we've got a ride with Hannah Corbin on the 25th and a run with Selena on August 26th.
Yeah, Selena loves her country, so that's going to be an awesome run, I'm sure.
And that Selena's run is on her normal Thursday morning. She normally also does a boot camp class on Thursday morning, so I guess maybe this is taking its place for this upcoming week. But I don't know.
I mean, that's exciting.
I'm just trying to think of his. I can't think of any of his songs right now.
Yeah, I have to be honest.
He's got a couple good ones, and he's a good-looking country dude.
Yeah, definitely. I saw the picture of him, but I'm not familiar with his music, so that'll be fun. Definitely something to pop on and do for sure. Well, unfortunately, John, some disappointing news, though, that we have to report on for digital members. Peloton have shared that as of August 31st, if you're a digital member, you will unfortunately not receive the much coveted Century Club t-shirt. So that was really disappointing to get to hear. An email had gone out to members stating that they are striving to make the digital membership a better experience with exclusive offers and new features. And they shared that they have exciting things happening in the future. But as we know, sporting your Century t-shirt is something that any Peloton member strives for. So, could it be something for them to try and push members to, once they've gone digital, to go hardcore and get the, get the equipment,
get the full,
And it is. We aren't sure yet if somebody does switch from going to app to being a tread or a bike member, whether it will retroactively allow them to get the shirt. That part we're actually not sure of yet. But as it stands now, we just know that they are doing away with that part of the incentives that they give to folks. So that was certainly something that was a little disappointing.
I know I don't know about you, Amanda, your Century shirt, but I know mine, I haven't worn in a long time, but it's basically shrunk down to baby Gap size.
Oh, seriously?
Size. Yeah, I know it's a common complaint. Some people, it comes from it might be they use two different manufacturers. I've gotten two different ones.
Okay.
One's super soft and the other is more of 100% cotton Gildan type rigid feel. So, one was just really big and stiff and the other one was nice and soft, but then just shrunk down, crazy. But I know it's a common complaint if you see on the official Peloton member page. The control room chiming in. Apparently, you Australia members have the nice Century shirts down there with the extra plush, soft material. we're spoiling the members down under.
Exactly. I guess the production in Australia is a little bit better. Yeah. So I do have mine. Mine hasn't shrunk too badly.
They're not. It's free, but it's not the most nicest piece of Peloton apparel.
Right,
but it's nice to have that for the digital members. So I guess they have a few more days if they want to get it before the 31st. In other disappointing news, Amanda, we'll just put these back to back. We had another recent purge of classes. So sometime around the Friday the 13th, Peloton had removed a lot of content where this purge, previously it seemed to be related to licensing music rights expiring, but this just seems to be getting rid of just older content, from a certain date and older. So as of the 13th, almost every single class from before April 1st of 2019 has been removed, except two notable exceptions that Chris Lewis points out. Robin Arzon's Greatest Showman ride from November 16th, 2018, as well as a specific Emma Lovewell core strength class that was part of the Crush Your Core program. So I know I had just posted, I think that morning, it was a Friday morning, I had just posted a clip, a meme that day of Dennis on the Queen ride from November of 2018 when he let his hair out and completely fly around, and someone commented and said they had just bookmarked it, and then they came back later and commented saying it was gone. Yeah. So that one, sadly, the Queen ride, I remember doing that one live on a Friday morning, the summer of 2000, I guess it wasn't the summer, but it was a Friday, and I remember taking that class and I was looking down because I was so winded, and then looking up and seeing Dennis full Fabio with his hair completely down, helicoptering it. So that one kind of personally hurts because I had really good memories from doing that class live. So it's sad. It's kind of inevitable, I guess.
I have to be honest with you, John. I don't understand why, though. I mean, certainly from
Chris Lewis makes a good point when he covered, this, just recently. He said it's possibly an effort to ensure an ever-increasing production value of classes that are available to members. So I can see where they want to keep the production value consistent.
That's true.
Of all.
Okay.
So if you go back to a lot of those old classes, even 2018, the mic is big and fat. The lighting might be a little different. Obviously, there's riders in the studio back then. I know from really older classes that I still have some clips from, like Jen Sherman, legendary artist series classes. The lighting's totally different. They're a little more casual before the class begins. I can see how this could be related to just keeping
production.
Now they're like such a well-oiled machine with the way the classes just go so smoothly. So maybe it's related. Maybe Chris has a good point about the keeping the production value. They don't want somebody, I guess, to take a really old class with maybe an instructor like Stephen Little, previous Peloton instructor, who we had a lot of his classes still in the library before, and take that class and maybe be rubbed the wrong way by something he said, or and then take a newer class, and it's obviously totally different now with the new studio and lighting and environment in general. So
I will tell you, though, I did find it strange hearing, the complaints and folks so upset. I barely get time to do what's new on the platform. I don't know how folks even have the time to go back and redo, certainly milestone rides. It's nice to go back and hear your shout out and see how you've improved, perhaps. But it would be very few and far between that I would jump on a ride that had previously been, released. So, there's
I can barely
material.
Keep up. Right.
Yeah,
I can
100%.
barely keep up with what's new.
100%. I mean, you miss a week and it's like, how do I catch up with those rides that I want to do? Especially if you like riding with, a couple different instructors. There's just not enough time to do everything unless you're stacking on a weekend or something like that. So I always find it interesting hearing the complaints and hearing how upset everybody gets, because it's just not something that bothers me, because I don't typically go back and do old rides. So
it would be nice. I know we're lingering on this topic for a while, but it would be nice, like what Chris had mentioned when he initially posted about this story. It would be nice if Peloton did something like Netflix, where they said these movies or shows will be going away on XX date, kind of just giving you that, they kind of just
do it.
They do it. Yeah, they do
no
it really
warning.
Quietly with no warning. And then they don't really give you a real clear explanation if they offer one at all. It's very general.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I think you're 100% right. I think if they announced it ahead of time and just said, look, folks, we're purging a certain amount of rides. If you want to get in before, August 31st, now's your opportunity to do them. That actually would be a really good idea and suggestion for them, because it does upset.
A little consideration.
100%. Well, they've got other things on the agenda for them, John. It looks like they are not stopping at the launch of just Australia, and that we can expect further expansion into the Asian Pacific markets. So they are definitely busy with tons of expansion out there. Peloton's Australia's general manager, Karen Lawson, did an interview with Mirage News, and she stated that while they are working on being in every part of Australia, because as we know, they haven't quite expanded everywhere yet, they are also looking at other countries in the region too. Karen was quoted in saying that Australia is the beachhead into the Asia Pacific region, and that when conditions are right, they will expand. They're looking at Australia's free trade agreements and will determine which countries they can operate most successfully with. As we had reported previously, Peloton have already begun filing for trademarks and patents in Cambodia, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, and Singapore. So definitely stay tuned. You will HIHF it here. You will definitely hear it first here. But that is exciting to see it expand further across the world. And there's no question that the momentum is there. But it's got to be a huge task for them to do something like this.
Oh, so, it's monumental.
Absolutely.
Such a huge undertaking, but the sky's the limit.
The limit. And I guess keeping with the expansion talks, we can confirm that the member support center that we had reported back in May coming to Cork Island will actually become a reality. Peloton have now filed registration documents with the government to form an Irish subsidiary company. New job postings have also been listed for openings for customer support advisors as well as customer support team leads. So they're looking for both English and German-speaking folks. And we're still unsure of the actual address as to where the Cork offices will be located. But as soon as we know, we'll certainly report it. We'll report it here. And, I've mentioned before, in my previous job, I had traveled to Cork many, many times. It's a beautiful city in Ireland. It really is. And there's tons of space, definitely tons of space available. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it ends up landing up, because I know the area pretty well. And it'll be fun, and great job opportunities for more people. So, there are numerous reasons, John, that Peloton kind of are expanding into Ireland. And, one of them being that Ireland gives them a base into the EU countries, while still remaining close to the London headquarters. So with Brexit, there certainly was that impacted everything going in and out of the UK. So Ireland does make sense for them logistically. But they also have the opportunity or the potential of some tax benefits being based in Ireland. So we can certainly assume that the offices in Ireland, that we will see bikes and treads possibly being there as well. I can't imagine them to have, an administrative side of things and a customer service side without having folks able to purchase bikes and treads. So I'm sure that that's going to be up next, is the ability for the Irish to buy them. And again, having been involved in the Irish community for as long as I had been, I have had so many of my friends reach out to me to say, come on, Amanda, why aren't there bikes here in Ireland yet? And, I have to remind them that I don't work for Peloton, and I'm not sure why, but this is exciting stuff. So knowing that they'll, do that, I'm sure the next will come. So I guess we'll wait and see.
Well, Amanda, a lot of us are asking the question, what secret project is Peloton working on currently that has several instructors off the schedule for some time? Cody, Emma, Allie, Jess King, and Callie Gullickson are all off the schedule for the next week or two. And there's been a lot of speculation that it could be for recording Usher Dance Cardio, which back in May for Homecoming, when Usher had interviewed with Ally Love, Peloton did specifically confirm that Usher Dance Cardio is coming to the platform. Could this be why they're off the schedule?
How awesome. And it really could be. I mean, you folks know I mentioned it on the show before, having seen him live in Vegas a couple weeks ago would be amazing. And he's actually on hiatus right now. So he performed a batch of concerts because he's taken residence in Las Vegas, and then he's off. He's not scheduled to perform again until, I believe it's the beginning of December, kind of right around the holiday time, middle of December through the holiday. So, you know what? That makes sense, John. I mean, could he be utilizing that time to work with the instructors? I mean, how cool is that, if that is, in fact, what they're off doing? And it makes sense. So maybe we're all onto something, that this is, in fact, when it's going to be done. It's exciting. Well,
I did get this morning, a member messaged me on Instagram and sent me a picture. She was on the New York City subway commuting to her office, and she took a picture from just a little ways down the train car of none other than Cody sitting there. Funny. Sitting in his Adidas shorts and shirt, tank top, with a mask on, looking on his phone. And so I guess I think he's on his way into the office this morning, he's not on the schedule. She should have followed him. I said to her, I said, did you say hi at least? She goes, no, I chickened out.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny. Well, it's actually funny you mentioned that, though, because I actually had two friends run into Robin and her husband and the baby in Rye, New York this past weekend, too. Yeah. They were eating at a restaurant in Rye called Bare Bones, I believe it was called, Bare Bones. It was funny because I had mentioned that to a girlfriend who lives in Rye, and she goes, oh my God, we just saw her in a health food store. So on the same day, two very good friends of mine both ran into Robin. They both actually did speak to them. And my girlfriend that saw her in the restaurant said she was a little irritated. She didn't really want to engage in conversation. But interestingly enough, her husband apparently was very chatty. And my girlfriend is a fertility specialist in New York at our practice. And they spoke about that. And he was, she was there with her three girls. And I forget, I'm so sorry, I forget what Robin's husband's name is.
Drew.
Is
it Drew?
So, is it? Maybe control room can tell us. But anyway, so apparently he was, he shared his experience and she had been a fellow at Cornell University where they had gone through their IVF, which she was very open about. Robin was very open about. But it was interesting that they spoke about that and she had quite a conversation, but she said he was definitely more chatty and she was, she was nice. And then she did come back over to the table afterwards to say goodbye, which I thought was kind of sweet. And then
I guess it really depends. You really got to gauge. If you run into an instructor in the wild, you really got to gauge it and really, if it's appropriate to say hi or have an interaction.
Exactly.
But yeah, a restaurant, like sitting down like that, I would be I would be maybe a little nervous to go up.
Hi.
If it was Rebecca, I'd like sit right down next to her and order a drink and just start chatting. But Robin, I know, some of the instructors can be particular back when the studio was open. A lot of the instructors don't like you touching them, and some of them will say that before you take your picture with them. So when I met the last time I was at the studio, February of 2020 at 23rd Street before it all shut down, I was there hanging out, getting ready to take a later class at night. And Robin had just stepped out of her Tabata ride that she was teaching. And I didn't want to do that. Back then when I was, signing up for all my classes, I saw Tabata and I said, screw that, I'm not doing Tabata. So I haven't done a class in the studio with Robin yet. But afterwards, after she was meeting all the folks in the studio that had taken her class and taken pictures, I walked up to her just to say hi. And I was, just in my full street clothes. But we joked and I said, you shouted me out at Peloton Homecoming 2019 from the Hammerstein Ballroom. You called me out for all these high fives. And she started smiling and her face kind of lit up. She's like, wait, I said your name wrong, didn't I? And I said, yeah, you said Kenny Bonilla with Alex. So we laughed and we high-fived each other. And when we got next to each other to take a picture, I just kind of leaned into her and I jokingly said, no touching. And she sort of laughed. And
so she doesn't like the touching. She's one that doesn't like.
Apparently, some members have previously mentioned that I know Jess King doesn't like that.
Yeah. So for all you folks watching,
she's made a point of saying that.
So many folks are new to this, John, and they probably saying, what the heck are they talking about? So in the old days, you got to meet the instructors right there in the studio if you rode your bike in London or New York, and they gave you an opportunity to meet
take a
them
picture.
Afterwards.
It
was
fun. You got a little
fun.
meet and greet opportunity.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it was.
Some point we'll get back to that, I hope. But yeah.
Hopefully it'll come back. Yeah.
But that was my Robin story. But anyway,
I love it.
After I left, I left the studio that night before my class to get some dinner. So I went around to Chipotle, and when I came back and I was walking around the corner to go back to the studio, Robin was just standing outside on the sidewalk, and she was looking at some display of a business window. And I just walked up to her and I said, remember, it's Banya, not Bania.
and she's never got it wrong since, right?
And she looked at me and just said, And I just kept walking.
Yeah, no, it is fun. It is fun. So, so I guess we'll get to see why they're all off, and it'll be some exciting stuff, I'm sure, coming that we'll see in the future. Well, folks, last week we did share with you the release of Becs' new documentary that she is doing with Peloton in regards to her marathon training. The second episode is now on YouTube, so they're being released, it seems to be Wednesdays, and the second episode is on there. But what we also learned was that Becs is actually in the elite invite list for the New York Marathon. So absolutely amazing, Becs. It's just phenomenal how well she's done with this. And I'm so glad that they've taken, a different aspect of her life. And I know that her marathon training has helped so many of Peloton members with their own training moving forward. So this is just wonderful. And the fact that she got that invitation is pretty cool. We have also learned that German instructor Erik Jager had COVID and has been off the schedule recovering. So Erik had announced on his Instagram account that he had in fact contracted COVID-19, and he stated that he only had mild symptoms and was feeling healthy, thank God. But Erik is now the second instructor having reported to have had COVID, with Cody sharing previously that he too had contracted the virus. So, I guess maybe the travel back and forth that Erik was, having to do, who knows?
Yeah.
But, and I mean, look, I can only assume they've all been fully vaccinated at this point. So thank goodness. And I'm sure that's why he got it mildly. Because he had protected himself. Because I got to tell you, I just heard of a couple in Chicago that apparently both had gone on a cruise, they were anti-vaxxers, and both contracted the virus, and within 3 weeks, both died. I just found out about that. So, a husband and wife, literally on the same day. So anyway, I'm glad to see that the instructors, are being protected, and it's still, unfortunately, with this new variant, there's a possibility that they'd still get the virus, but that they're, Peloton are taking such good care of them. So that's good. And then some lovely news to share. Previous instructor Irene Scholz announced that she's in fact pregnant and will be expecting a baby. So Irene had shared in an interview that she recently did that there were, in fact, many reasons why she left Peloton. Foremost was the commute between Germany and the UK. She just said that it was exceptionally hard, and with there being no talk of opening a studio in Germany, she just couldn't continue going back and forth. She also obviously has a long-term partner, and that was really hard on their relationship, with him being a pro golfer, and he was going to be traveling. So she felt that it was the right opportunity to take care of herself. And, again, I'm not 100% sure how far in the pregnancy she is, but maybe, the two she found out she was pregnant and decided, I just can't do that. So I know that the German community really, really miss her, and it's been lovely. I mean, I follow Irene on social, and she continues to engage with the Peloton community. She certainly has engaged with me back and forth. So, I think she was sad to leave the Peloton community, but now she has something exciting to look forward to. And it was really kind of heartwarming to see all the lovely comments that all the instructors had put on her post when she announced it. Yeah, that was nice. Very nice. Yeah. Very, very nice. So, some really exciting stuff going on there.
Well, in other news, Peloton has received a big honor recently, Amanda. They were ranked #1 best global brand, ranked by consumers on Comparably. So Peloton beat out some other notables in the top 5: Netflix, Costco, Chick-fil-A, and Amazon. Comparably takes customer feedback. This is from August 2020 to August 2021. Previously, Peloton had been named Best Product in national awards include Best Product and design team from April 2021, best operations team 2021, best marketing team, best HR team, and best engineering team, all for 2021 as well. Previously, earlier this year, Peloton had also ranked number 2 as the most relevant brand in the Profit Top 10 brand list. So it's funny. It's funny. I don't know who, at this point, Amanda, I don't know who I don't come across too many people who don't know what Peloton is.
Right.
But right. just to give you an example of some folks that aren't aware of what Peloton is. So I just posted a funny clip of Cody from an older ride from 2019 where he plays Paul Abdul's Opposites Attract. And he gives this whole analysis about how the guy that Paul Abdul is singing about is just a terrible boyfriend and the worst person for him. So I posted that in my stories and I tagged Paul Abdul. She reshared that. And then, and then I just, earlier in the week, and then I just started messaging with her. I just said, "Oh, hey, what's up, Paula? Do you have a Peloton, boo?" And she goes, "No, I wish." And then she goes, "I don't even know what Peloton is."
No.
I don't think I was messaging with her assistant. It was really her, but she didn't know what Peloton was. So it just made me think of, this most recognizable, relevant brands. I can't believe Paul Abdul hasn't heard of Peloton.
That is so interesting, John. But I guess there are folks out there that don't. But those that do have it are going to rank it as number one, as far as product use goes. I mean, we know the ones that know it and love it are going to be shouting from the rooftops. So I think that was what's so interesting about this ranking. It's that people use it and continue to love the product. Even with all the stuff that's gone on, even with the delays and even with the tread recall and even with everything else. There's still that huge level of loyalty. Of loyalty. Yep. Which is interesting because that really does take us onto the next story in that it doesn't seem that we can have a Pelo Buddy TV episode without some kind of legal report. And there are always folks out there that are looking to bring things down. So as much as, the majority of the Peloton members are in fact loyal, Peloton have another lawsuit that they are being, they are dealing with and that they're being sued over. And this time it's about sales tax for membership fees. Which is crazy. But I guess a class action suit was filed in New York, Virginia, and Massachusetts. And the lawsuit alleges that the membership fees should have been treated as a tax-exempt digital goods in these states. Again, here we're talking about, on one hand, reporting that they're, number one ranked, and yet there are still folks out there that are going to find some way to, to get the best out of it. And I guess, John, you have a suit, a follow-up to a suit, trademark suit story too, right?
Yeah, a coffee company. So this isn't even an exercise space realm. Beverage. So a company by the name of Peloton Cold Brew is asking the court to declare it has the right to the trademark to use the name Peloton in the coffee space, even if Peloton, the bike company, has the rights to it, because they're totally unrelated. So right now, they're going through that to see. I would think it's okay. In this case, I would think it's totally unrelated to fitness. So I would think that
why not,
coffee company would win.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But obviously, everyone these days, suing each other left and right. Everyone is so protected of their IP and their brand. So, I'm sure they have tons of lawyers who are constantly looking, to keep them covered and protected. Yeah.
So it just shows you. that there's going to be always somebody out there that's going to try and figure out how they can make a buck. I mean, I get it from the coffee company perspective, but some of the other suits that have been filed over the past certainly are questionable.
Well, speaking about this, going back to the sales tax lawsuit, Amanda,
yeah.
I definitely know that they don't have good control around that, because when we bought our first Peloton when we lived in Austin, Texas, we're still getting charged a different monthly membership fee than we're getting charged on our other bike here in now that we're in Michigan because of the sales tax. But it's like, who am I going to try to get to? I don't even know who to reach out to what's there to fix. But they're definitely based on the sales tax, for Texas and Michigan's different.
I mean, I don't really know the laws, John, and what, the different states have. But I do have to say, I find that paying sales tax on a membership fee, regardless of what state you're in, just seems, does seem strange. It's not.
Yeah. I think we can all agree. We all hate paying tax.
Right.
I mean, I hate paying shipping, but that's a whole other story. But it's just a nuisance.
Right. It's a nuisance, Yeah, so I guess, John, with the sales tax perspective, they did stop charging the members in those states back in January, but the suit actually are folks not being refunded. They want to be refunded the sales tax that they've been paying, prior to January 1st. So that's what the suit is all about. So they're not being
Peloton
charged any longer. And Peloton are saying
is refusing to credit that back.
Correct. So, so I guess we'll wait and see what ends up happening. And, we like to report everything on here. So definitely something that we thought some folks would be interested in hearing more about.
Another instructor in the news, moving on, Jess Sims was just recently interviewed on a website called The Kit. And that's titled, "Let Fitness Phenom Jess Sims Motivate You, Why the Peloton Sensation Left Everything to Pursue Her Dream." And it's a pretty short read interview. It's got a lot of the similar questions that I've seen in recent interviews with Jess. But I love the fact that she was recruited by Rebecca Kennedy, because she touches on that. Because I love Rebecca. But I love the fact that Rebecca, they don't give her a yes answer right away. Like, she had to work on Andy Spear to come to Peloton. She had to work on Jess Sims, as she says in this interview. She turned the job down when Rebecca reached out to her. She felt she wasn't ready yet, where she kind of currently was. But it's a nice, shorty little interview, and Jess Sims is always, interesting to read little tidbits about her. So check that one out. It's on the Pelo Buddy website.
Yeah. And Robin Arzon was actually featured in Forbes.com. She was chatting about returning from maternity leave. The article was "The Myth of Balance and the Power of No." The article did go ahead and state that after being the first instructor to have a baby and take maternity leave, Robin defined what it meant to be a working mom with a high-profile and physically demanding career. So author Amy Schoenfeld chatted with Robin shortly after her return with Robin, sharing tons of motivational advice. So if you guys want to read more about that, certainly head over to pelobuddy.com and take a look at the Forbes article. The full article is there. We also saw today.com share the journey of a Peloton member. And I always love to see these. I think it's just amazing how these folks get picked up. This particular article, John, was on a member by the name of Brian Hurley. Brian lost 185 pounds and completed his 1,000th ride with Peloton. In the interview with Terry Peters, Brian shared that he had tried for 8 years to successfully lose weight, but typically would end up regaining what he had lost and felt pretty defeated. And I certainly can relate to Brian and what he went through. But he said that when his son Kevin turned 1 and began walking. He needed a way to stay motivated to reach his health goals. Brian lives in Buffalo, New York, and he shared that he had been drinking quite heavily. He decided to quit and quit completely and work on his fitness goals, and hence bought a Peloton. So he had heard about Peloton clearly, and knew that he could then go ahead and work out from home while he was working at home. He said that he absolutely fell in love with Power Zone training. And, honestly, guys, his story is absolutely remarkable. And it reminds us that the Peloton community, as well as drive and motivation, can certainly allow us to meet all of our goals. So good job to Brian Hurley for making that transition and changing his entire life. I'm hoping that we get some pictures up here as I share the story of just how amazing Brian looks today and how healthy and fit. He went on to say that his goal was to get down to about 250 pounds. And when he hit 180, he couldn't quite believe that he had way surpassed the goal that he originally had. And he said there is no turning back. And it's certainly through Power Zone training and the bike and the platform to get him there. Today.com also featured Peloton again in an article titled, "As the Pandemic Continues, Kids Are Turning to Meditation to Manage Anxiety." And the article talks about how Peloton member Amy Drescher shared that her 10-year-old son, Alex, always had trouble falling asleep. Amy had suggested that he do meditation at night using the app, and says that the result was actually life-changing. Alex said that he liked calming down and listening to the nice voice and relaxing in his bed. He said that his favorite Peloton instructor is Chelsea Jackson Roberts. He did go ahead and said that he loved listening to her voice and found her very comforting. He completed 100 meditations and was very excited to receive his Century Club shirt in the mail. So you see, there are going to be members that are going to be disappointed that that's going to be going away for digital members. But I think his mom owns the hardware, and he just utilized the app for the meditations. And you guys all know how I feel about meditation. So this article, really, really warmed my heart. It was nice to see.
That's nice. Well, yeah. Cody recently celebrated his 7th anniversary of working with Peloton. So amazing. Happy 7th anniversary. It's funny to see, I don't know if you ever took any of his much older classes before, they were purged, subsequently, but one of his really, and this is a while back when I took it, I think it was from 2017, but he had like this really bad sort of ponytail. His hair was all shaved around, and then he had his hair up in this ponytail. And he used to say how much he hated it. So he would shit talk his ponytail, all the time. But it's funny going back talking about like the production value of how far it's come and improved since those way early days. You can really see the difference. But it's just kind of funny, some of his older classes that I did when they were still up. Little things would bother me, like the mirror that they used to have behind them. It was just sort of just off kilter a little bit. It was sort of lopsided. So you would see this weird pattern wallpaper behind it, and it would always bug me. So just those little, differences, like the lighting, they used to have this like red lighting in the studio.
Yes, I remember that. I do remember that.
Just a lot of little tweaks that they really improved it for the better. It's kind of fun just to see how he's progressed, in his own journey with the company since he started. So yeah, happy anniversary to our boo, Cody.
Yeah, wow, lots.
That was a lot.
It was a lot.
I gotta wet my whistle.
Hope we kept you entertained, folks, as we went through all those different stories. But
and now picks
I know
of the week.
I know that a lot of you look forward to picks of the week. Unfortunately, I don't have much for you as far as picks of the week goes. With having moved Nicole into college, I said to my husband, I said, I think I felt like I did more working out than I've done in ages in the last few days, just with carrying boxes and moving and
all the manual labor.
Manual labor. And I ended up, I think I said it at the beginning of the show, but I ended up wallpapering, contact paper wallpapering her entire dorm room, the crazy mother that I am. And I have to tell you, I can thank Peloton for my upper body strength and my arm strength, because standing there and holding up that wallpaper was definitely doable. So from that perspective, I can certainly say that. But I will say, and I'll just kind of shoot just because I just have one, but I will say that I did jump on midweek. I jumped on the bike on Wednesday and did Bradley Rose's 20-minute pop ride. It was back from Sunday. Yep, it was back from Sunday. It was Sunday, August 15th was when it dropped, so I took it on demand. And, I've kind of gone back and forth with Bradley. Some of his rides I don't particularly like. I don't like the punk rides. I don't like some of that stuff. But you know what? He is definitely growing on me. I love working out with him. I mean, he's got some funny idiosyncrasies that he does, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So that 20-minute was just a quick 20-minute. I just wanted to get my legs moving and felt like I did something, was awesome. So that was back from Sunday, August 15th. And I will tell you that I am completely obsessed. I think I may have mentioned it on a previous pick of the week, but I am completely obsessed with his brand new 10-minute cool down ride. It is back from Friday, August the 13th. And the playlist is honestly amazing. From Andy Grammer's Don't Give Up on Me to Before You Go by Louis Capaldi, Stay With Me by Sam Smith, and Bubbly by Colby Calais. I love it. I love 10-minute cool downs. I really don't enjoy doing the 5-minute. I want to feel like I'm getting something out of that cool down. So I really enjoy these 10-minute cool downs, and was excited that he got to drop a new one. And that's what I've pretty much been doing over the last couple of weeks. And I'm really enjoying it. But that, folks, is pretty much it for me for this week as far as picks of the weeks go. And I'm really hoping that next week I'm able to jump on the platform far more frequently and have tons more for you. But I know you, John, have lots. So let's hear what you have.
All right. I got a nice little trio. So obviously kicking it off with Cody's 20-minute Spotify Disney Hits ride from Wednesday, August 18th. Super fun. It's for the whole family. It's just a fun class. It's not a PR, but it is what you make of it if you want to go for a PR. But I did this one. I didn't do it live because it was at night, but I did it as a warm up to a tread boot camp, which was perfect. So it was a great way. I say couple it with something, with another class, stack it. Next up on the tread, with my boy Andy Spear, we have a 20-minute classic rock run from Wednesday, August 18th as well. And this one, I gave him some music suggestions, we'll call them. But a super fun 20-minute playlist. When we were messaging about this run, I've been trying to work out live with Andy Spear more. I feel like I don't give him enough love like on the platform. I'm always posting and doing stories and, mentioning him here and there, but I don't feel like I'm present in his classes enough. So I've been really trying to show up, especially just for doing more strength, because I'm totally slacking in that department. So, he always teaches running. Like, I hate his schedule because it's always like in the evenings at 6 o'clock or 5 at 7. So the last few weeks, though, I've been doing his Wednesday 6 p.m. 20-minute run that he usually does that week. And this one we had messaged because he hasn't done a classic rock run in a while, but I gave him I told him to open up with Grateful Dead Shakedown Street and end it with Ripple by the Grateful Dead. Great way to kick it off and cool it down. But then we were messaging and I said, but Boston's Don't Look Back would also be a great tune, especially to kick off the run. So pre-show, he had a little Shakedown Street by the Grateful Dead in there. The ride kicks off with Boston's Don't Look Back, and he ends it with a live version of the Grateful Dead's Ripple. So really, and there's some Doors in there, and I can't remember one or two other tracks, but it's a super fun run. It's not a, it's not a go all out type of workout.
Awesome.
But it will fly. And I love the 20-minute run. They're just like the perfect amount of time for me and what my body can handle, on the tread.
I'm glad to see you back on the tread, John. That's awesome. Looks like you're...
I was never gone, but I was slacking off a bit. I know. Well, if I don't use it, I feel like I'm just throwing away a monthly payment to a firm. And it's right there next to the bike, so it's kind of hard to avoid. But last but not least... Going back to Disney for the Disney Spotify Artist Series, Rebecca Kennedy's 20-minute Spotify Disney hit body weight class. All experience levels, no equipment needed. Jackie and I did it together. It was super fun. I would have had Jackson there had he not been at summer camp when we did it. But a super fun class, and some of the movements she really got into. So when she was playing Aladdin's Whole New World, we were sort of doing this movement on a magic carpet ride with our arms, and then we were doing rowing on the floor to Moana, because we were we were rowing like Moana. So it's just a super fun class, and she was almost in sort of a mermaid, kind of shimmering mermaid motif without the mermaid tail, but she gave me Ariel vibes from Little Mermaid.
Very cool. Very cool. I did see her jump on Insta Live, and she was very animated about it. She clearly loved that. She loved that workout. So that's awesome. Yeah. I like those bodyweight ones. Yeah, I like those bodyweight ones because they're just easy to jump on anywhere and kind of do them. And how long did you say that one was? 20 minutes?
20, yep.
Perfect. That's perfect. Wow, those are great. That's awesome. So that Spotify Disney came in handy this week for you.
I know. A 20-minute Rebecca Kennedy's, it's from August 20th.
Perfect. Excellent. Wow, that's awesome. Well, folks, I guess that pretty much wraps it up, right? That was a lot to share with you. Again, thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to having a good workout week, I think, this week, and share much more with you next week. So from me here in Florida, I will say bye for now.
And see you soon from me in Michigan. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.